In this video, we'll be taking a look at 3 NBA games happening on April 10, 2024, and providing you with free team picks and total picks for each one of those games, so 6 picks in total. Welcome back to Cash Out Sports. Let's dive right into it. Oh, and don't forget to subscribe and to click the bell icon to get notified as soon as these videos get released, so that you have more time to plan out your bets as we provide these videos on a daily basis. I can guarantee that you'll have all the important information that you'll need on these 3 NBA games after fully watching this video. One more thing before we start: if you would like to gain access to our best exclusive sports picks to take your journey to the next level, then check out our Patreon in the link down below, where we offer our best single picks, parlay picks, and much more. Now let's get started. Memphis Grizzlies versus Cleveland Cavaliers. The final game of the season series between the Memphis Grizzlies and the Cleveland Cavaliers is set to take place soon. The Cavaliers emerged victorious in their previous matchup with a score of 108-101 back on February 1st. In their most recent game, the Grizzlies suffered a setback against the Spurs after squandering a 14-point lead. With no chance at making the playoffs, Memphis has opted to rest its regular starters. On the other side, the Cavaliers are struggling with a 3-game losing streak, having lost narrowly to the Los Angeles Clippers. This skid has dropped them to 5th place in the Eastern Conference, with the potential to finish anywhere from 2nd to 8th. Memphis has hit a rough patch, losing 9 out of their last 13 games. They'll be seeking redemption after a disappointing 102-87 loss against the Spurs in their most recent outing. Trey Jemison and Scottie Pippen Jr. each contributed 14 points, while Xavier Simpson came off the bench with 12 points and 5 assists. Jordan Goodwin had an impressive performance with 10 points, 19 rebounds, and 5 assists. However, as a team, the Grizzlies struggled with shooting, hitting only 34% from the field and 20% from beyond the arc. Although they started strong defensively, holding the Spurs to just 16 points in the first quarter and gaining a 14-point lead, they faltered in the third quarter, allowing the Spurs to snatch the lead for good. Meanwhile, the Cavaliers are also facing a slump, losing 8 of their last 11 games. They're hoping to bounce back after a narrow 120-118 defeat against the Clippers. Darius Garland led the team with 28 points, 8 assists, and 5 steals, while Evan Mobley and Max Strus added 20 points each. Karis LeVert chipped in with 18 points. Despite a solid shooting performance, the Cavaliers couldn't maintain their lead in the second half, ultimately falling to the Clippers on a game-winning shot by Paul George. The Grizzlies are still without key players like Jaren Jackson Jr., Yuta Watanabe, and Desmond Bane, while the Cavaliers are missing Ty Jerome and Dean Wade. The Cavaliers are expected to have an edge playing at home with ample rest and a stronger roster. They're also highly motivated to secure a top 4 seed in the Eastern Conference. Nonetheless, given the Cavaliers' recent struggles in closing out games, a spread of 18.5 points seems too generous, especially considering the Grizzlies' resilience despite their roster limitations. Therefore, the Memphis Grizzlies to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. Both teams have faced challenges due to injuries this season, impacting offensive productivity. The Grizzlies currently rank last in scoring and field goal percentage in the league, largely due to ongoing injury issues. The Cavaliers, meanwhile, rank 20th in scoring, with injuries affecting their offensive output as well. Defensively, both teams have performed above average, with the Grizzlies ranked 11th and the Cavaliers 7th in scoring defense. The previous meeting between these teams resulted in a total of 209 points. The Cavaliers boast a strong defensive record this season, which should pose a challenge for the offensively struggling Grizzlies. Memphis has struggled to score consistently all season, relying heavily on their defensive prowess. The Cavaliers prefer a slower-paced game, ranking 25th in the league in pace, similar to the Grizzlies at 17th. Therefore, under the projected total is our full game total pick. Charlotte Hornets versus Atlanta Hawks. The Charlotte Hornets aim to end their 4-game road losing streak as they take on the Atlanta Hawks on Wednesday night. The Charlotte Hornets have faced significant challenges lately, losing 11 out of their last 13 games overall. After a rough defeat against the Mavericks with a score of 130-104 last night, the Hornets are determined to bounce back. Miles Bridges led the team with 22 points, supported by Brandon Miller's 21 points along with 6 rebounds and 4 assists. Davis Bertans contributed 14 points off the bench. Despite their efforts, the Hornets struggled to maintain pace, shooting 43% from the field and 10 of 32 from the three-point line. They fell behind early, trailing 69-47 by halftime. Meanwhile, the Atlanta Hawks have seen a slight decline in performance, losing 4 of their last 6 games overall. They are eager to end a 3-game 5-game losing streak following a 117-111 double overtime defeat against the Heat last night. DeJounte Murray led the Hawks with a triple-double of 29 points, 13 rebounds, and 13 assists. DeAndre Hunter added 23 points and 11 rebounds, while Jalen Johnson scored 13 points on 6 of 7 shooting. Despite a comeback effort, the Hawks struggled with shooting, hitting only 39% from the field and 10 of 46 from the three-point line, ultimately falling short in the second overtime. The Hornets report no injuries, while the Hawks continue to miss Trae Young, Jalen Johnson, and Seth Lundy. With home court advantage, the Hawks are favored as the stronger team, striving for the 9th seed to secure home court advantage in the first play-in game. Despite the Hornets anticipating the offseason, leading to limited playtime for key players, the Hawks face fatigue from back-to-back games, particularly after a grueling double overtime match. Moreover, the Hawks have the lowest cover percentage in the NBA at 35.4%. Historically, the Hornets have won 4 out of the last 5 games against the Hawks. The Hornets have struggled significantly, particularly after a 26-point loss to the Mavericks. Conversely, the Hawks may face fatigue following an intense double overtime game. While the Hawks are expected to win, the Hornets have the potential to stay competitive. Given the spread, the Charlotte Hornets to cover the spread as underdogs is our full game side pick. In terms of scoring, the Hornets average 106 points per game overall and 105 points per game on the road. They have averaged 110 points per game in their last 3 encounters with the Hawks. The Hawks, averaging 119 points per game and 122 points per game at home, typically play at a faster pace, averaging 104.2 possessions per game. Considering their opponent's defense, the Hawks are likely to score above their average in this game. The Hawks and Hornets have surpassed the total score in 3 of their last 5 meetings. If the Hawks effectively utilize 3-pointers against the Hornets' average perimeter defense, they could score 115 or more points. The Hornets are also expected to capitalize on scoring opportunities against the Hawks' weak defensive statistics, ranking 27th in defensive rating and struggling in opponent effective field goal percentage, opponent rim field goal percentage, and opponent three-point percentage. Given the fast-paced nature of the Hawks, over the projected total is our full game total pick. Toronto Raptors versus Brooklyn Nets. On Wednesday evening, the Toronto Raptors will head to Barclays Center for an away game against the Brooklyn Nets. The Raptors will be playing their second game in 2 nights, having played on Tuesday. Their opponents, the Nets, are looking to recover from a heavy defeat by the Sacramento Kings. The Toronto Raptors have been struggling significantly, losing 16 of their last 18 games. They hope to bounce back from a demoralizing 140-123 defeat against the Pacers just last night. R.J. Barrett led the team with 23 points, shooting 10 of 19 from the field. Kelly Olynyk contributed 22 points on an impressive 6 of 7 shooting, while Javon Freeman-Liberty added 20 points on 7 of 10 shooting. Despite shooting 50% from the field overall, the Raptors only made 5 out of 21 attempted three-pointers. Although they started strong with 35 points in the first quarter and a 12-point lead, they faltered, allowing 81 points in the next 2 quarters and eventually losing by double digits. Meanwhile, the Brooklyn Nets have been fairly consistent recently, winning 5 out of their last 8 games. However, their 2-game winning streak came to an abrupt halt against the Kings with a score of 107-77. Cam Thomas led the Nets with 21 points, supported by Trendon Watford's 16 points off the bench and Jalen Wilson's 11 points. Despite these efforts, no other player managed to reach double figures in scoring. The team struggled with shooting percentages, making just 34% of their field goals and 7 of 30 attempted three-pointers. They fell behind early in the game, trailing 65-40 by halftime, making a comeback nearly impossible. Notably, Mikal Bridges scored just 8 points, and Dennis Schroeder's shooting woes continued as he managed only 4 points on 1 of 12 field goal attempts. The Raptors continue to face challenges with key players out, including Jakob Poeltl, Scotty Barnes, and Emmanuel Quickley. Similarly, the Nets are missing Dennis Smith Jr. and Keita Bates-Diop. Toronto has been enduring a rough patch for a significant stretch and showed signs of struggle in their recent loss against the Pacers. On the other hand, Brooklyn was on a positive streak before being halted by the Kings. The Nets' confidence was shaken by the crushing defeat at home against the Kings. Cam Thomas has been a standout performer recently, averaging impressive statistics picks across multiple categories in the last 3 games. He is expected to play a key role again. Toronto will be fatigued from their Tuesday game with limited healthy players available. Grady Dick, who scored 13 points in the last game, is likely to be sidelined due to a sore right groin. Expecting a rebound performance from the Nets after their disappointing loss, the Brooklyn Nets to win and cover the spread as the favorites is our full game side pick. Given that the Nets struggled to score, managing only 77 points in their previous game, it's unlikely they'll rack up high scores in consecutive matches, especially considering they're playing on back-to-back nights. Their reliance on three-point shooting makes them vulnerable when shots don't fall, especially if key players like Claxton are absent. Cam Johnson can only do so much for the Nets in such circumstances. With several inactive players on both teams due to the back-to-back schedule, a high-scoring game is improbable. Fans hoping for a high-scoring affair might be disappointed. Under the projected total is our full game total pick. That's all for now, so if you have any other games you would like reviewed, then leave a comment down below with the game you would like analyzed. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like on this video, and we'll get to it as soon as we possibly can. We would also love to hear your opinion on the picks presented to you in this video, whether you agree or disagree with them, so leave a comment down below and do let us know.